Hi everyone, happy Friday. My name is Tammy and I'm happy that we have all survived another week of this strange times that we're in. And today I wanted to come and talk about the reality and frustration of being the adult kid of parents that hoard. The hashtag I use is AKOPTH. And I see this come up a lot because there are a lot of people dealing with hoarding issues, whether it's a parent or a loved one, friend, neighbor. If you're a firefighter, you're probably coming across it in the form of heavy content homes. And there is this societal expectation that we will take care of our parents, which ideally is, a great idea, theoretically, biblically. But part of the reason that's hard is a person that hoards generally has unaddressed trauma, and their trauma has inevitably caused their hoarding, and that also traumatizes their other family members and children and neighbors and everything else. So there's a lot of trauma in hoarding. And while ideally we'd love to help them, a lot of the times you're dealing with someone who doesn't think they have a problem. So any desire to help them is curtailed by the fact that they may scream, yell, holler, anything else that comes up if you attempt to intervene. And there's a lot of emotional attachment to our things. Most of us have attachment to some of our stuff, even if we are not at the level of hoarding. And I'm going to stop here for a minute and say hi, Mark and Annette, and I think Angela I saw. And so thank you for stopping by here. So part of the frustration I want to talk about for a minute and the reality of hoarding is that if you go visit that home, you maybe can't get in the door. There may be no place to use the bathroom. You can't cook anything because the counters are covered. You can't even microwave anything because chances are the microwave is too gross to use. And this is not always the case. It is not always squalor. It is not always rodents and animals, but frequently it is. And so you don't have this normal experience going home to like see your childhood bedroom or stay in that house. If you've got your own kids, you can't really bring your grandkids into that space because it's not safe for you and it's not safe for them. And the person that hoards frequently has no idea that what they're doing is the reason why their relationships with their family are crumbling, non-existent, or sometimes the adult kid will determine they must go no contact because sometimes there's a very narcissistic aspect where the person is totally focused on their needs, their stuff, and there is not an awareness of what is needed for their own kids and grandkids. And honestly, if you bring your 2-year-old to a space where there's an avalanche risk, you don't want to be responsible for that. It's not safe for the kid to play. And it's really sad because relationships are impaired because of this. And I totally get the frustration. When I go to visit the hoarded space where I grew up, I have a camper I stay in. I keep it locked when I'm not there, so nothing can get put in. And that might sound extreme, except it's not. I lived there, and even in my own bedroom, there was always this push to put other people's crap in my not happening. Sorry, my dog is right by me. A call in the middle of this. Basically, you are not having a normal experience when you go visit your family. And so I want to mention this shirt that I'm wearing. It says, create a family reunion you want to go to. And that quote came from an interview I did with Travis Johnson in the nonprofit Architect. I probably should have tagged him here. But basically, in our lives, sometimes we have to figure out who our family is. And it isn't always blood, and it isn't always who we think it is. I have very good friends that I would consider family, more so than some of the family that I do, that God gifted me with. And another part of that is around boundaries, because you can have a parent that really wants to guilt you into, like, why don't you stay here? And I fixed up this room for you. And you're like, yeah, but I don't sleep with rats. So there's this really misunderstanding of what is going on in hoarding. And another aspect I've seen come up a lot this week is around hoarding, the hoarding shows. And yes, I would say that they do bring awareness to this issue, which is very valuable. The grief, pain, sorrow, anger, all those emotions on those shows, they are real. I've lived it, so I know that is real. But on the other hand, it's about mental health, and it's about the stigma that surrounds it. And the reason that we are silent is because we don't want to be judged. And if you grew up in a hoarded home, you take on the responsibility for it, even if you didn't create it. And you will have people tell you that you need to come fix your parents' problem. Good luck. Let me know how that goes. Come back to me when you want to talk about what hoarding is really like and what a realistic resolution is. Light, I have come up with something called Sanity Saver Consultation, because honestly, when you are looking at hoarding, it's irrational. And if you go into it with a rational approach, without being aware of how that's going to go, you're going to pull your own hair out. So when you step into those situations, you really need to be at, where is your self-care? What will you allow? What can you tolerate, handle? What can you not do? You know, at what point do you say, I can't risk my own family and my own kids and my own livelihood to come and help you with the problem you think you don't have? So I encourage people to know they are not alone, because honestly, so many of us who grew up in it, or even if you're a person that hoards now, you can feel like you're the only person that's dealing with this problem, and I guarantee you, you are not. So my part of my message is to help people know they're not alone, but you also have to look at, is your cup full enough to deal with it? Because if it's not, you aren't doing yourself any favors. And just because you are called on to get help doesn't mean you can't just delegate. You can call a porta potty company, have them deliver one. You could call, a junk hauling space and have them come haul the junk out of the yard that the city is complaining about, if you're so inclined. Or you could give that information to your parent that hoards and to the city and say, look, these are the people I've contacted, that's all I can offer to you right now to help resolve this. I personally have chosen a lot of low contact, and that's for my own mental sanity. Plus, I already work in this space, and some days, I just don't want to talk about it anymore. And those are the days my boyfriend, I think, appreciates the most, when I decide I'm going to calm down about this mission. Yes, I had J-Dog has some great junk hauling across our nation, and I'm also connecting with some other people in my area, because there's a need, I find, for compassionate, no, actually I'm going to call it trauma-informed junk removal. And so that's something that I'm looking at, because we need a balance of physical labor as well as understanding of what they're doing. So not just with the junk, but with the mental health aspects. And I get that it's hard to step into that, especially if you aren't aware of the level of the hoard. So, and that's a whole nother issue around personal safety. So, anyway, I just wanted to mention that there is a lot of frustration in these situations. And if you are trying to figure it out, you don't have to go it alone. So, I will come back in a bit and drop a link in here where, if you're dealing with this issue, you could fill it out, and then we could get you scheduled for a consultation. And I don't expect people to jump on here and say, "Hi, I have a problem," no matter what piece of it you're dealing with. But I want you to know that there are options and you don't have to go do this by yourself. So if anyone has questions, feel free to drop them here and I will come back in a bit and do my best to answer them. And I thank everybody for that did drop by. I see I see some people who did. So thank you very much. And thank you, Mark, for tagging. And I hope you all have a great day. And let me know how I can help. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. And remember, I'm a problem too some days, Mark. But I just want people to know that hope is really available. It may not feel like it or seem like it right now, but it's one of those things that I've really learned that we need to remind each other of. So, all right. So I'm going to end this, but you all have a great day.